The full story of our national patron, as it appears in the Golden Legend, runs in this wise. St. George arrived at a city of Lybia called Sylene, near to which place was a vast stagnant lake or pond like a sea, wherein dwelt a dragon, who was so fierce and venomous that he poisoned and terrified the whole country. The people therefore assembled to slay him. But when they saw him, his appearance was so horrible that they fled. Then the dragon pursued them even to the city itself, and the inhabitants were nearly destroyed by his very breath, and suffered so much that they were obliged to give him 2 sheep every day to keep him from doing them harm. At length, the number of sheep became so small that they could give him only 1 a day, and then they were obliged to give him a man instead of the other. At last, that all the men might not be eaten up, a law was made that lots should be drawn to select the victim from the youth and infants of all ranks. And so the dragon was fed with young gentlefolks and poor people's babes, until the lot fell upon the king's daughter. Then the king was very sorry, and begged the people to take his gold and silver instead of his only and much loved daughter, whose name was Cleodelinda. This the people would not accept, because the law was of his own making. So the king wept very much and begged of the people to allow the princess 8 days before it came to her turn to be given to the dragon to be devoured. So the king wept very much and begged of the people to allow the princess 8 days before it came to her turn to be given to the dragon to be devoured. And to this the people consented. When the 8 days were past, the king caused his daughter to be richly dressed, as if she were going to her bridal, and having kissed her and given her his blessing, she was allowed to be taken by the people to the dragon. It was at that moment that St. George arrived on the scene, and when he saw the princess being led out, he demanded to know what all the commotion was about. "Go thy way, fair young sir, that thou perish not also." But again the fair youth demanded to know the reason of her being there, and why she wept. Then he tried to comfort her, and she, seeing that he would not be satisfied, had to tell him. Instantly upon learning this, St. George promised to deliver her, but she begged him to go away, not believing he could do her so great a service. While they were thus talking together, the dragon appeared and was seen running towards them. The new-found champion, being on horseback, drew his sword and signed himself with the sign of the cross, and then, riding violently forward, attacked the monster with his spear, wounding him so sorely that he was overthrown. The victor then called the princess to approach and bind her girdle about the dragon's neck, and not to be afraid. When she had done so, the dragon followed as he had been a meek beast. So she led him into the city. The people, however, when they saw the creature coming, were so affrighted they fled out of the city, seeking safety in the mountains and valleys. St. George went after them to encourage them, promising to slay the beast outright if they would return, believe on Christ who had given him the strength, and be baptized. To this they consented, so the champion slew the dragon, cut off its head, and the people drew the monster's body out of the city on 4 great carts, each drawn by 4 strong oxen. The king and upwards of 15,000 men, besides women and children, were immediately baptized, and soon the king built a magnificent church on the spot where the beast was slain, dedicating it to St. George.